All right, you know what time it is. Live from the Bare Muscle Garage, it's time for Fit Crew. What do we got in store for you today? Let's go ahead and share this on screen. So for today's workout, we've got a 20-minute sweat fest for you here. We're going to be doing 20 minutes, as many rounds as possible, of 20 calories on the road, 15 wall balls, 10 box jump overs, and a legless roll climb. We may be looking at this thinking, how can I do any of this at home? Don't worry, guys. It's not about what we don't have. We're going to warm up really well. And we're going to go through all the options that will allow you to do this workout for your version of it, right where you are, using what you have and doing what you can. But let's go ahead and start this general warm up. Here we go. Let's get some arm circles going back, arm circles back. As you know, my name is Coach Chris. I'm a level 3 CrossFit trainer, which means I've logged thousands of hours over many years, helping many people just like you live their best life through health and fitness. Let's move on to arms across the chest. Hug yourself, love yourself. One of the ways I've been privileged to help you guys live your best life is through the Committed Club Academy. And in the Academy, we dig deep. We find our internal motivation that helps us to live the life that gets us the results that we need. Let's go ahead and move on to the wrist wave here. So if you've attended the Academy one or more times, how has it helped you? How has the Academy promoted you to live on track? Let's go ahead and move on to some high knees into chest, or some high elbows. And we are going to hear from Twin One. Go ahead, say your name, where you're from, and how has the Academy helped you to stay on track?
Hi, I'm Denise. I'm in New York. I've done the Academy several times now, and I really love it because everyone wants to be a healthy person. But the thing is, it's hard to keep up or stay with a healthy routine. And I know the Committed Club Academy has helped me to refresh my motivation and to get reminders or extra pointers of what I could do to better my health. And everyone's busy. Everyone thinks that they might not have time for the Committed Club Academy, but it's very flexible. You could do on demand, and because we have things to do, so you could listen to it later and you could still participate, send in your answers with your team, things like that, to still participate, do your homework, still benefit from the Committed Club Academy, even though you don't get to see it live in person.
Very well said, and thank you for those insights and the reminders that on demand meets the demands of your life. Let's go ahead and move on to some calf raises. Up on the toe, back on the heel, up on the toe, back on the heel. Or if it works better, we could do some wrist extensions like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Mighty Mouse. Go ahead and say your name, where you're from, and how has the Academy helped you to stay on track?
Hi, my name is Renicia. I'm from Georgia. The Academy helped me so many ways. I've been a couple of times, and each time I go, they're good reminders. I always learn something new that I haven't learned previous from the last class. And like this last go around, it was bigger. We had more people on. We had teams, and it was just fun to hear everybody comments and to participate with them. And also, I like the option that you have the on demand, because if you miss class, you don't have to worry. You can just watch the video later, and it makes you feel like you're there. You can just share your answers, and it make you part of the group, so you don't miss anything. So it was awesome.
Thank you, Mighty Mouse, for those awesome reminders as well. And let's go ahead and move on to some jumping jacks. Or we could do some stepping jacks if we want low impact. So the Academy is the best way to fully understand this program and to get the most out of it. In the Academy, we dig deep into our on-track sheets, fully understanding the ins and outs of this program. Plus, we go over the science, the why behind all of these habits. Why sleep, why drink water, why plan out those meals. And then, of course, why is flexi time so important, along with the whys. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, please click that link that's in this video, or feel free to message me directly for details. Let's go ahead and take a break from the warm-up, and we're going to move on to the activation phase, which is where we're going to do a couple different moves that are going to help us to get specifically ready for today's workout. So the first move that we're going to do is the pigeon. Let's go ahead and have 21 demonstrate the pigeon for us, with some help from Kirby. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then pigeon is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's sink into the pigeon on this side. So a couple things to keep in mind. This pigeon is one of the most important activations that we do. We're laying face down, we got the chest up, we got the knee up across the chest, and this activates the glutes, relieves issues that might be going on with the IT band, and overall promotes good squat positioning. And let's go ahead and switch legs here. So we're going to get the other leg up and across the chest, other leg back, and we are sinking into this pose here, which opens up those hips, helps us to squat deeper and to squat better. We always talk about chest up, shoulders back, knees out to the side on the squat, and that is what we're actively improving here. Let's roll over and get some glute bridges, and let's have 21 demonstrate 2 glute bridges for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then the glute bridges are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 glute bridges together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are laying on the back. We've got the feet pulled in super close to those hips, squeezing those glutes, getting the hips higher and higher each rep. And we want to think fast up, hold the top, slow on the way back down. And so good job here on these glute bridges. Next, we're going to roll back over and let's hit some plank shoulder taps. Let's have 21 demonstrate 2 plank shoulder taps for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then the plank shoulder tap is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 plank shoulder taps. And so in this plank shoulder tap, we're in a nice tight plank position, hips down, squeezing that gut, shifting the weight, tapping the shoulder on the opposite side. Now, it could be that doing this off the ground is a bit of a challenge for us, in which case we may choose to do this off the incline. Let's have 21 demonstrate a couple of incline reps here. We could do this off a wall, off a counter, off a sofa, off a dresser. Whatever the case, we're in a nice inclined position, shifting that weight, tapping the opposite side. So good job here on the plank shoulder taps. Next, we're going to do some air squats, and let's go ahead and have 21 demonstrate 2 air squats for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then the air squat is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 air squats together. So a couple things to keep in mind with the air squats. Those feet are starting about shoulder width apart. We're going to initiate by setting those hips back and down, pushing the knees out to the side throughout the movement until we get those hips all the way down below the knees. Now, it could be that getting the hips below the knees is a challenge for us, in which case we could do some assisted squats to a target. Let's have twin one demonstrate a couple reps here. We can sit and stand to a chair or a footstool or medicine ball. We can use progressively lower targets. The longer we do this program, we'll eventually be able to squat all the way down, hips below knees without assistance. Good job on these squats. Next, what I'd like us to do is let's go ahead and grab a ball, a light ball, if we got one. If we don't have a light medicine ball or some type of basketball, beach ball, volleyball, or something like that, then it could be a pillow. It could be absolutely anything super light. We always start light before we go heavy. So with this light object in hand, we're going to do some med ball squats. And let's have twin one demonstrate 2 med ball squats for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then med ball squat is actually going to be some med ball curls like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the med ball squat together. So just like those air squats that we were just doing, the only difference here is we are holding the object on the upper part of the chest. So we don't want to let that object get down. We're holding it right below the chin on the upper part of the chest, squatting as low as we can. And if we were doing assisted squats earlier, we can continue to do that here as well. Let's have twin one demonstrate a couple of reps of the assisted med ball squat. And that's where we're holding that object right in the same place that we just mentioned, upper chest, right under the chin. We are sitting back, standing up. So good job on these med ball squats. Next, we're going to do some med ball thrusters. Let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps of the med ball thruster for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the med ball thruster is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the med ball thruster together. So that thruster is a combination of a full squat into a press overhead. And notice how twin one is getting all the way down, hips below the knees. And then notice how she gets to a fully standing position before she does anything with the arms. She's getting that full extension, squeezing those glutes, locking it out. And then she is pushing her head through as she pushes that ball back. Now, if we were doing assisted squats earlier, we can also do some assisted thrusters. Let's have twin one demonstrate a couple of reps here. And that's where we're going to sit back, stand, and then press and lock out overhead. So good job here on these med ball thrusters. Finally, here in the activation phase, let's go ahead and find a sturdy surface that we feel comfortable stepping up onto and potentially jumping up onto. It could be a sturdy plyo box, or it could be some stairs if that's all we got. It could be a step ladder. It could be a chair secured up against the wall, perhaps even with some weights. But the most important thing is that it is sturdy, not going to move whether we step up onto it or jump up onto it. So with this in mind, let's go ahead and see some step overs. I'm going to demonstrate the step overs first here. And that's going to be where we start on one side of the box. We step up, over, down on the other side. And it could be our space doesn't permit us to step down on the other side, in which case we could do step ups. Let's have twin one demonstrate a couple reps here of the step up. Optionally stepping down on the other side there to replicate the feel of a step over. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then step overs are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 step overs together. So, a couple things to keep in mind. Safety, safety, safety first. Let's make sure we have a surface that we feel comfortable stepping up onto that is secure, not going to move, whether we are jumping or stepping. And it's also a comfortable height for us, not too high. And then perhaps if we've been doing this program for a little while, we can challenge ourselves with the height, but it's better to keep that height low at first and get proficiency and confidence in the movement. But good job here on these step overs or step ups. Well, that is it for the activation phase. Now we're going to move on to the movement prep, which is where we're going to practice specifically the 4 moves that we are doing in today's workout. So the first move that we're doing is the row. And if you happen to have some type of row machine, then what I'd like you to do is hop on that and row for 1 minute, and we'll see how many calories you can. And that's going to help us to know what to do in the workout. But most of us don't have these machines. We are the machines. We're going to do an at-home modification for the row using a light dumbbell. So let's go ahead and grab a light dumbbell or any other light household object. About 10 pounds or less, 5 kilos or less. And with this light object in hand, let's look on a twin one as she demonstrates the dumbbell sumo deadlift high pull, which we're doing for the row. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then that dumbbell sumo deadlift high pull is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the sumo deadlift high pull together. So a couple things to keep in mind. That object is going to start on the ground in between the feet. And then we are driving with the legs, getting all the way up, getting those elbows high and outside, and then tapping the ground in between the feet at the bottom. So good job here on the sumo deadlift high pulls. The second move that we're doing in today's workout is wall balls. So let's grab that light object that we were using earlier, and let's look on at twin one as she demonstrates a couple wall balls. Now it could be that A, we don't have a bouncy object to bounce off the wall, and or B, it could be, hey, I don't want to throw stuff at my wall. That's fine. We can do some thrusters instead, just like we were doing in the warm-up. Let's have twin one demonstrate a couple of thrusters here with the med ball. Or if we want a little bit more of a challenge, we could use that same dumbbell we were using on the row, and we can do some alternating single arm thrusters. And let's see 4 reps here in twin one. And that switch overhead is what gets challenging and takes some practice. If we're doing this from the seated position, then we're going to take that ball and we're going to do the same med ball thrusters that we were doing before, like this. Or if we do want more of that challenge, then yeah, we could do the alternating single arm thruster with the dumbbell like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of either that med ball thruster or the alternating single arm thruster with the dumbbell. Or it could be that, hey, maybe I have a bouncy ball and I don't mind doing those wall balls, squatting, throwing against the wall. But we've got lots of different options here. Either way, the most important element of this movement, no matter what version we're doing, is full range of motion on that squat and then full lockout overhead. So if we're doing the alternating thrusters, let's get super low each time and let's lock out the arm before we switch hands with the dumbbell overhead. And similarly with the med ball or whatever other version that we're doing, full depth in the squat, full press and lockout and overhead. That's what we're looking for in all of these options. The third move that we're doing in today's workout is box jump overs. And I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate a couple reps of the box jump over for us. So notice a couple key things there. It's a sturdy object that does not move when I jump up onto it. And I'm jumping, landing soft, stepping down on the other side. It could be that, hey, we need to use a different object. And let's look at in on twin one, who's going to do some box jumps using the chair secured against the wall. She's going to step down to the side to replicate the feel of the box jump over. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then we're going to get that dumbbell and we're going to do those box jump overs with some pastures like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the box jump. So it could be that, hey, jumping is just not my thing. That's fine. We can do some of those step ups or step overs that we were practicing before. But if we've been doing step overs for a while, what I'd like you to think about doing is maybe to grab a really low object. I'm talking, it could be as small as a plate like this. And you know what? Maybe we can surprise ourselves. We can jump onto this little plate. And hey, I made it, and my knees are fine, and everything feels great. But if step ups are better for us and our knees and our joints and everything, that's completely fine. But no matter what we choose to do, safety first. The object is safe. We feel safe with it. Those are very important points to understand. So good job here on these box jump overs. Lastly, we've got legless rope climb. So, hey, you know what? Maybe we don't have 15 feet to climb. That's fine. But maybe we do have something that we can securely tie and do some version of legless rope climb, maybe repping it out a couple times. And let me go ahead and demonstrate one legless rope climb. I'm actually going to do 3 sets of this with the height that I have. So that felt like a legless rope climb, even though it wasn't 15 feet. We use what we have, we do what we can. But most of us perhaps don't even have this setup, which is completely fine. We can still do an at-home modification that requires core stability and, of course, the upper body stimulus. We're going to do some upper body, cross body planks. And let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 4 reps of the cross body plank for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then we're going to do some alternating forward arm raises, weighted like this. So let's go ahead and let's practice either the 10 crossbody planks for the rope climb, or hey, maybe we can get creative and figure out something like this using what we have, doing what we can. But if we're doing these crossbody planks, then the main thing here is midline stability. We are keeping the chest and the hips square with the ground. That dumbbell is on the outside of those hands, and we're reaching across with the other hand and pulling it. So we're not pushing it, we are pulling it from the other side to the other side. And then, of course, from the seated position, keep that arm nice and straight, switching hands at the top. But good job here, whatever version we're doing for the rope climb. Well, now it's ramp up time. If we've been doing this program long enough to earn our first badge, and we'd like to perhaps add some weight to those wall balls, then let's start to gradually add some weight, doing a couple practice reps at a time, adding a little bit of weight each time. But if we have not been earning badges, or it's our first time after a long time off, then please, let's just keep it light. Let's just sweat. It's going to be 20 minutes no matter what today. We're still going to get a great workout with that super lightweight that we were just using in the warm. And whether we're adding weight or not, let's pay close attention to the following checklist. Number one, please make sure your device is fully charged or plugged in so we can get through this whole workout without losing you. Number two, let's grab some water. Let's take a sip. And let's make sure we got our water nearby so we can take a sip as needed all throughout the workout. Number three, I'm going to give everyone a 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And that's how you can synchronize your timer with mine. Choose to use one. Number four, music. Super important. 20 minutes of your music is way better than 20 minutes of my music, of his music, of her music, whatever the case. You can play your music, you can blast your music as loud as you want, as long as you can still hear me helping you throughout the workout. And lastly, how are we keeping track of these rounds? This is a 20-minute workout. It's easy to lose track of where we are, who we are, how many rounds we've done. So let's have some type of system in place so we can keep track of all that work without getting lost. One of the best ways to do that is to have the workout written down close by, perhaps even with some type of scorecard. So if you're like Mighty Mouse, first to the screen with the teacher's pet award, then you've got some good handwriting and you've got a good scorecard there. Or maybe you're like Twin One and you like to go all out with the different colors. Let's go ahead and take a teacher's pet picture just to show how prepared you are. Teacher's pet picture in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I'm going to bring the workout back on screen one more time, and then we'll get going. So in just about a minute, we're going to start this timer, and we're about to do this 20-minute AMRAP. As many rounds as possible in 20 minutes of 20 calories on the row, 15 wall balls, 10 box jump overs, and 1 legless rope climb. Now, most of us are doing the at-home version of this, which is going to be 20 sumo deadlift high pulls with the dumbbell, 15 of the either single dumbbell thrusters, switching hands overhead, or maybe 15 of those med ball thrusters, with or without assistance as needed. Let's pick the option that's good for us there. 10 box jump overs. Let's make sure that the object is a safe height and sturdy, not gonna move when we do, whether it's jumping or stepping up onto that object. And then for the legless rope climb, For today, we're doing 10 of those cross-body planks at the end of each round, which will equal one legless rope climb. But if we have something that we can kind of figure out and maybe try to get a legless rope climb using what we have, doing what we can, I encourage that as well. So your score is going to be the amount of rounds you get done in these 20 minutes. So the 20 sumo deadlift high pulls, the 15 thrusters, whether single arm or double arm with the object, 10 box jump overs or step overs, and the 10 crossbody planks. So if you are good to go, give me a thumbs up over here and we'll get it started. I'm going to give us a 10-second countdown, and then I'm going to highlight swing one to get us going. So here we go, guys. 20 minutes. 20 sumo deadlift high pulls. 15 thrusters. 10 box jumps or step ups. And then the 10 crossbody planks. Starting in 10 seconds. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. And we are off on these sumo deadlift high pulls. Tapping the ground each time, but getting those hips super low, chest up, looking straight ahead. So we don't want to look down. We are looking straight ahead, just like we see Twin One doing there. So chest up, shoulders back, getting the elbows high and outside. Getting those elbows high and outside, keeping the elbows above the dumbbell. And let's make sure we're doing legs first, then arms. We want to live by that core to extremity principle, the wave of contraction going from the legs all the way up, finishing at the top with the arms. And then from the sumo deadlift high pull, we are then going into those thrusters. So we got Twin One. Notice how she is wisely using a lighter weight. The alternating arm thruster is not a move that we do very often, so she's wisely using a lighter weight to practice this transition overhead. And most importantly, getting the full range of motion, getting that full squat, press and lock out, switching those hands. And we got Mighty Mouse as well, getting these thrusters. And let's make this a two-part movement there, Mighty Mouse. So let's get that dumbbell to the shoulder first, then press and lock out. It could be a smooth two-part, but yeah, there we go. So getting that curl, press, lock out. And then after these 15 total, by the way, that's going to be, 8 on one arm, 7 on the other. If that bothers you, then hey, just remember to start with your other arm in the next round. It'll be completely fine. And now we've got 10 of these box jump overs, hitting these jumps, stepping down on the other side. It could be that we're just doing step overs for today, managing the impact on those joints. That's fine. Or it could be, like we said, if we've been doing step ups for a while in this program, I'd like to encourage you to find a small object, such as even a 2-inch height or a 3-inch height there. Could be a weight plate or something along those lines. And maybe we're jumping up onto that plate, getting some confidence. There's always a way to scale and avoid that all or nothing mentality. And we got Mighty Mouse. So you're going a bit too high if you're doing the cross body plank there. So forward raise and then switch at the chest. Forward raise, then switch at the chest. But Mighty Mouse already onto the cross body plank. And we got Twin One as well. Getting ready. Getting into this cross body plank. So notice, like we said, that dumbbell is resting outside the hand and we're reaching across and then pulling it across the chest. Reaching across, pulling across. So we're not pushing that, we are pulling that across the chest. And then just like that, we are rounding out round one. And everyone is on track to finish within today's target window. The target window is the best guide to measure our progress through this program and to make sure we're challenging ourselves appropriately. And the target window works when we pick the right weights and we pick the right movement options that allow us to finish within the target window. Not too much over, not too much under. If we are in the sweet spot there, then you're getting the appropriate level of challenge. And every workout is different. Maybe some days we can use more of the RX options. Maybe some days we need to do more of the intermediate or scaled options, or even some of the flex options. But as long as we use the target window as the guide when making these choices, hey, what's going to help me to finish within this window? Those are the right choices for us. We are deep into this second round, finishing off these rows onto these thrusters here. We got Mighty Mouse getting the motion down now. And she has graduated. We have an agreement not to see that colored dumbbell. And we're allowing it on the crossbody plank since that's a different move today. That's a new move, but on these thrusters for sure, you're hitting these with that nice black dumbbell you got. Twin one, getting better at the hand, transition overhead. One tip I have for you, twin one, is hey, you can raise your other arm. You just wait till you block out with the dumbbell before switching. So I would raise both arms at the same time. And then that will, there you go, make that transition that much more efficient. As long as we switch after lockout, not before. We are getting through these thrusters. Then going to be moving on to the box jump overs. And this is a nice neck and neck race we got here. That's what I love about this program. We have, of course, some friendly competition. Most importantly, friendly. But we love how Twin One and Mighty Mouse feed off each other. And both racing right now, pacing very wisely. Because they're both experienced and they know, hey, you don't want to come out too hot. It's a 20-minute workout. And we know we got plenty of time to get a whole lot of sweat in. So we want to pace this so that we can go faster toward the end and not hit that wall in the middle of the workout. Mighty Mouse done with those box jump overs already and onto these cross body planks. And switching at the chest, switching at the chest. And hey, she's making this move look super easy, but hey, you know what? We already said you can keep that purple dumbbell for this one, since we know it's a different move. Twin One just has to work harder to keep up here on. But she's keeping a nice tight plank position, keeping those hips down. Sliding that dumbbell across, reaching across, pulling it across. And then we are moving on to round 3, most of us here. So getting low, locking that out. Driving with those legs. Legs first, then arms. Legs first, then arms. Get that full extension. Feel the squeeze in those glutes. Pop it with the hips. Finish with the arms. Getting those elbows high and outside. But nice work here, guys. We are on this. Hitting these sumo deadlift type holds, keeping that object close to the body, tapping the ground in between the feet. Driving with the legs. And then moving on to these thrusters here. The breathing on the thrusters makes a big difference as well. Deep breath in before the rep. Breathe out as we switch overhead. I'm going to make sure to breathe out hard. A lot of times when we think we're short on air, we just breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. But the way we're exerting ourselves, we actually need to exhale hard. So we're driving, locking that out, driving, locking that out. Getting much smoother with the switch overhead. But good work here. And time flies when we're having fun. We are just about halfway there, guys. In our groove. Pacing this race. We don't want to go too fast. We don't want to go too slow either. Mighty Mouse on these box jump overs right into it, not wasting any time. Twin one as well. Getting right into that. Kirby, of course, enjoying the fun. Keep an eye on twin one. But on these jumps, if we choose to jump, let's remember to jump hard, land soft. And depending on what we're jumping on, we're going to do that naturally anyway. You see twin one landing super soft, not trying to break that chair. But it's also much better for the joints. So we respect each jump. We breathe in, we focus, we respect every single jump. But then we land soft to absorb the shot. Mighty Mouse on cross-body planks. Finishing off round 3. Twin one as well. Moving on to these cross-body planks. Finishing off round 3. And then from here, getting into round 4, guys. So entering the lower end of the target window. Breathing well, moving well. Hitting these sumo deadlift high pulls. Let's keep those eyes up, Mighty Mouse. Especially at the bottom of the rep there. Keeping the back in a nice, stable position. Twin one, taking that deep breath out. Moving on to these high pulls. Breathing hard, pushing hard, getting through this round 4. And in this program, guys, we know we have lots of different types of workouts. Sometimes we've got some longer workouts. Sometimes we've got some shorter workouts. Sometimes they're heavier. Sometimes they're lighter. But they all are pieces of the puzzle. In the same way, we can't finish a puzzle without all the pieces. We can't be fully fit without all the pieces. And so we respect each workout and its place in the program. If we did only the long workouts, we'd only be ready for that type of challenge. If we did only the short workouts, we'd be only ready for that type of challenge. We need to be ready for whatever life throws at us. In whatever duration, in whatever loading. So consistency is key. And we are on this, guys. Moving well, breathing, pushing, getting through it. Doing this thing on these thrusters. Focusing, breathing through each rep. getting low, locking it out. Twin one, jumping for joy. Respecting each jump, stepping to the side. Mighty Mouse moving at a furious pace to get onto those jumps, right into the jumps, not wasting any time. But moving at a nice steady pace, that's the key here, guys. In a long workout like this, I'm gonna give you a full 3-minute warning as we get toward the end, of which we're getting there pretty soon. So we're still holding on to a nice comfortable pace here, just like we see Mighty Mouse and Twin One doing. Not going too fast, not going too slow though. Moving at a steady pace to help maximize your score, which is going to maximize your fitness. And here goes Twin One moving on to the cross body planks. Deep breath in, keeping that core nice and tight. Reach across, pull. Reach across, pull. And the coordination here is important. Like we said, that dumbbell is starting on the outside of the hand and we're reaching across with the opposite one and pulling. So we're not pushing it across, we're pulling it across. Mighty Mouse on these cross-body planks as well. So we got Twin One finishing off this round. Mighty Mouse as well. Diving into this next one here as we are entering the last leg of this workout, both in the sweet spot of the target window. But let's make sure we're tapping the ground each time on those Sumidata types, tapping the ground, driving with the legs, getting those elbows high and outside, breathing, getting through these reps here, guys, getting through these reps, getting those elbows nice and high. Still pacing, but very soon we'll be racing, going as fast as we can. Let's remember to keep the chest up, hips super low each time, using the legs to power this movement. Drive with the legs, finish with the arms. Legs, lock, reach. Moving on to the thrusters here, Twin One. Getting low, breathe, press, lock that out, breathe, press, lock that out. And just like that, guys, we are at the 3-minute warning. We were pacing, now we're racing. Wherever we're at, let's fight as hard as we can to get right back. If we're on these thrusters, let's lap a whole full round, get back to the thrusters. If we're on the high pulls, let's lap a full round, get back to those high pulls. If we're on the jump, let's respect those jumps, move nice and steady, but let's race around, get back to those jumps. We are doing what we can here, guys. Emptying the tank in the last few minutes. We've been pacing, now we're racing. Breathing hard, pressing it out. Doing this thing here. All 15 reps of those thrusters. Moving on to these jumps. Mighty Mouse right onto the jumps as well. Always super exciting. Everyone pushing toward the end here. Still moving well. Still staying focused. But giving it our all. Putting that foot on the gas pedal. After these 10 jumps, gonna be moving on to the 10 cross-body planks. And we got Mighty Mouse on these planks. Twin one, a couple more jumps, about to move on to those cross-body planks. Less than a minute left. Closing out the 5th round. And the main score is going to be how many rows can we get into the round of 6 for these two. Mighty Mouse grabbing that dumbbell, about to get into some rows. Twin one, right into it. 30 seconds left. Let's breathe, embrace, and race. Holding on to that dumbbell. No need to put it down. We got 20 seconds left. You can do anything for 20 seconds. We're racing. We're doing what we can. We're holding on to this dumbbell. Every single rep counts. Who can hold on longer? Couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and time. Man, believe it or not, here we are. You have made it. And we're at the best part of the workout, which is the cool down stretch. This stretch is super important to help us fight soreness, increase flexibility, so we can come back day after day, staying consistent and committed. So the first stretch we're gonna do is the seal stretch. And that's gonna be where we lay face down and we push up like this, letting the hips sink into the ground. Now, if that's hard to do off the hands, then cool, we could do it off the elbows like this. And if we're doing this from a seated position, then we're gonna get those arms up and pull back like this. And while we're doing this, let's reflect on the workout. Let's do some high-low buffalo. So, what is high-low buffalo? Hey, let's switch into the frog while I explain. So, we're in the seal right now. And then let's move on to the frog. So we got the hips back, knees out to the side, sinking into the frog like this. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then we're getting those hands back to the shoulder blade and pulling back like this. So, high-low buffalo. High. What is one thing you feel you did well in the workout today? Low. What is something you want to do better the next time it shows up? And buffalo. What is something that surprised you about the workout today? While we're thinking about that, let's switch into supine twist. So we're going to get the one knee into the chest, and then we're going to twist and pull down with that opposite hand like this. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Mighty Mouse. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're going to twist toward the right, moving on to whatever we need to. But what is your high-low buffalo, Mighty Mouse?
My high was the move I was doing for the calorie rolls. My low was the wall ball. That was a new movement for me. Something I got to work on. And buffalo was how intense this workout was. It was a good workout.
Especially so when you are competing against your frenemy, Twin One. I love how you guys feed off each other. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the other side here. Got the other knee into the chest, and we are twisting, pulling down on this side. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Twin One. And if we're doing this from a seated position, we are twisting toward the left, holding on to whatever we need to. What is your high-low buffalo, Twin One?
Woo! So my high was that crossbody plank thing, and then the low was that single dumbbell thruster. I was not liking that movement. But the buffalo was, yeah, this WOD was a spicy one. It totally took me by surprise because I was dying. I'm glad I finished the 20 minutes.
That you did. And you know, that's just how it goes. It always is a little bit different than we expected, both either on the simplicity side of things or the intensity side of things. But we go through it, we finish, and we come out better on the other side. Well, that's our WOD, that's our stretch, that's our high-low buffalo. You know what we need to do right now? That sweaty selfie. Because does this count if we don't take that selfie? Let's flex on the camera here, guys, and let's take this selfie. Sweaty selfie in 3, 2, 1. And crazy face. And let's put the fists in the middle for the cheer. On 3, 2 claps, fit crew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Fit crew. All right. Thank you so much. If you enjoy this program, then please give this channel a subscribe, a like, and a share. Thank you very much, and see you next time.